What's up, champs? Welcome to today's video. My name is Trevor Peterson, and today we have a special guest, Enzo Prina, who is a 23-year-old Amazon seller who is approaching that 8-figure mark. He's done just a little bit over $5 million in sales, and today we're going to be breaking down his story and everything that he's gone through to get to this point. And we're actually in his warehouse right now. We've got your brand new Porsche. We've got so much to unpack in today's video, and I'm really excited about it. So Enzo, I appreciate you being on the channel.
Thanks so much for having me. Hey, champs.
So I just want to ask you a few questions. And for those that are watching this, what's kind of funny is me and Enzo have connected a few times, and he's actually really good friends with a lot of my brother's friends. And there's all sorts of connections, and we finally linked up. And I don't really know a ton about his story. And so I'm just going to dive deep into different questions about how he got started. I mean, what was the process? I mean, he's 23 years old. I mean, it's kind of crazy. And a lot of people look at me, I'm 25. And when I started, I was 21. And so it's going to be a super fun video. So what I want to do first is ask you, how did it all start? Where did you learn about the opportunity to sell on Amazon?
Yeah, so it actually started back in 2008. I've been selling on eBay since I was about 11 years old. And I did that all throughout high school, middle school. And then I started selling on Amazon probably 2.5 years ago. I was actually watching your YouTube videos.
Let's go.
This isn't sponsored or anything. I was just looking for more ways to make money, and I found Amazon. So I started launching products here and there, and it eventually became a success.
So let me ask you this. Were you going to school, going to college? Are you going to college? What were you doing at that time 2.5 years ago when you were looking for ways to make money online?
Yeah, so I was actually going to school. I was full-time, just a full-time student, studying pre-med. So I wanted to be a doctor someday. I eventually switched to business, and I was looking for ways to make money online, and I found Amazon. And so I just started launching products and then ran with it. And then I eventually dropped out. I dropped out about a year ago. But
welcome to the club, baby.
Yeah, it's nice, man. Dropout gang. It's a good time.
So that's really cool. For everybody that's watching, we're not saying to drop out. Obviously,
No.
You need to take.
Don't drop out.
Like, you need to look and evaluate the situation. But if something's going well and something's working, then you might as well pursue what is working. So how long, at what point did you realize, hey, Amazon actually works, and this is what I'm going to do, like, as a career?
Yeah, so the first product I launched, I kind of did it as like a joke because I wasn't sure if it was going to work. I just thought, like, hey, maybe it's a scam, maybe it actually works. So I tried it out. My first product did about $10,000 per month in revenue.
That's
I was
awesome.
making, like, a few grand per month in extra cash.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, why don't I just try and scale this up? So I launched a few more products, and they actually all failed. My next, like, probably 5 products, all were just complete failures. And then I started launching more and more, and I eventually hit a home run. Just ran with it from there.
That's awesome. So for those that have been watching my channel, I mean, my first 8 products, I failed. I mean, there was some learning curves, and some I guess weren't like complete failures, but I basically lost a lot of money on those first 8 products. So a lot of people don't realize Amazon takes work. I mean, it doesn't just happen overnight. A lot of people are scared of that failure, but what would you say to somebody just starting to help them understand that that's just kind of part of the process?
Yeah, the whole thing with Amazon is that the learning curve is so high that there's no way for you to learn everything before you start. You just have to jump into it and then, just keep running with it until you succeed, because I knew that there was that chance of, hitting a home run product, and I wasn't going to stop until I hit it. That's what I did.
Dude, that's awesome. So with what he was talking about with failing his first, well, I guess you had 1 product and then you failed another 5.
Yeah.
I failed my first 8. And the people that are out there on the internet saying, oh, Amazon's a scam or Amazon doesn't work, it's the people that, number one, got into it and didn't even launch a product, and they're like, oh, it doesn't work, or they launched a product and it failed. But every single Amazon seller, or successful Amazon seller, I should say, has had a ton of ups and downs.
Yeah.
They have failure after failure after failure, and that's what has got them to the level where they're at. So let's dive into, I mean, we see the warehouse. We see he just bought a brand new Porsche. I should have brought my Porsche, but I got my Tesla. explain to me where you are at currently with your business and the success that you're having as we speak.
So yeah, we just moved into our new warehouse. It's 24,000 square feet, and it's
Huge.
so big. Like we're probably going to use maybe 10% of it right now because we're planning on growing so much. So to meet, to fill this whole warehouse, we're launching new products every single day, which sounds unrealistic because it kind of is. But yeah, right now I'm launching about 300 new products.
Dude, that's insane. So let me break this down, and I'd love to just kind of get some insight with like the cost of the product, because a lot of times people are like, well, I need like $10,000, $20,000 to launch one product.
Yeah.
What would you say is your budget for like each product? I mean, you're launching 200. So do you have like a $1 million budget? Do you have a $1,000 budget per product, or what's kind of your strategy per product, and what does it cost?
Yeah, so it depends per product. Like some of them probably cost like $1,000 to launch.
Okay.
Other products, 10,000.
Wow.
Just because it varies so much with all of our products. But the budget that we're working with, you might know this, you probably do, but Amazon extends loan offers once you have like a certain history in your account. So we're just working with the loan that Amazon gave us.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
So for those that are looking to scale, that's a great way to leverage other people's money to build and grow your business. And that's awesome. So if you're tight on cash and you've had the history with Amazon, you'll be able to get a loan. How are the interest rates? Are they somewhat fair?
It's incredible. It's probably 4.5%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a really good rate for anybody wondering. I mean, you could go do like a hard money loan or like credit cards, and it's going to be 10, 20%. So if you can get a 4% loan, that's essentially free money.
Yeah.
So with you launching 200 products, which that's insane, what's your launch strategy? Obviously, depending on the product, you might push PPC more. You might, I don't know if you do giveaways, or what is your kind of, you don't need to share all of your secrets, but what's kind of your process of, okay, well, I got 200 products. Like, how do you even start?
Yeah, so it's actually pretty straightforward. I do all my product launches with PPC.
Okay.
I run coupons, and I just put everything on sale for like the first month or so. I'm really negative most of the time when I'm launching a product, but once I get that sales velocity, my price eventually increases, my ACoS goes down, and I start making money. So
a lot of times people with PPC, they get into it and they're like, oh, my ACoS is 90% or it's 100%, and I just launched this product and I'm losing money. And it's like, well, that's just kind of the reality of Amazon. So what's your target of at what point are you trying to be profitable? Because obviously for those that are new watching, it takes a minute to be profitable on certain products. Some products immediately you're profitable. Others it might take longer. But what's your kind of target of how long are you going to write out a product before you're like, oh, this might not work, or let's pull back PPC, or let's reevaluate things? Yeah,
so again, it depends on the product, right? If I'm launching in a pretty competitive space, it can take, 6 months or longer to become profitable. But there are other products where I'm profitable on my first sale, which is incredible, or like
awesome.
Sometimes I won't even have to really advertise it because it's optimized so well. It's such a good product angle that people just buy it when they see it, But generally it probably takes anywhere from 2 to 4 months on average until I'm starting to become profitable. But, always in that first week, the first month of sales on Amazon, it's your honeymoon period, right? Where Amazon's like really nice to you. They give you good placements. So you just want to crank PPC as much as you can. Obviously, you don't want to like throw away money, right? But you want to be running it anywhere from like 50 to 100% ACoS, depending on the product,
So he brought out something that's super important for people to realize, is he talked about some products, like from day one, they're almost profitable because they're well optimized and they're just that good of a product. So one thing that I stress on, especially with my students and on the channel, is it makes no sense to spend all this money on a product. So let's say you're launching a new product and it costs $5,000, or let's say $2,000, to then skimp out on images, listing description, PPC. Like, what would you say, or what's your advice to best optimize your listing? And how do you make it so much better than somebody else's so that it just does become profitable almost from day one?
Yeah, so the number one most important thing, like for sure, is the product that you choose to sell.
Yeah.
Right? Honestly, like nothing else really matters that much besides that. If you have a great product, you're in the right market, you differentiate yourself, then you're in a good spot, right?
For sure.
So in order of priority, I'd probably say product placement, like the product that you pick, most important. After that, main image. Your main image is the second most important thing. After that would be probably listing optimization.
Okay. And yeah, and honestly for me, it's the same thing. If you pick a bad product, it doesn't matter how much you push it, how much you optimize. Like you're gonna lose money unless you just have a massive $1 million budget and you're like, I don't care, I'm just gonna rank it and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. But at the same time, it could lead to bad reviews and then it could just go downhill really, really quick. So let's backtrack a little bit to the beginning of your story, because when I first started, I didn't have a ton of money to get up and going. So what was your initial like startup budget, or how much did you invest before you started maybe getting outside funding or getting loans or getting extra help? Like what did you initially start with?
So I initially started, I remember the day I went to the bank to make a wire transfer to get my first order of inventory. So I got my first sample, which was like probably $50. And then after that, I got like my full order, which probably came out to $2,000, $3,000. And I budgeted money for PPC and stuff as well. So.
And then from there, did you just reinvest profits, or you were like, oh, I'm going to take that and go buy a new Porsche?
Yeah, so I actually bought the Porsche right away. No, I'm just joking. I actually didn't spend a dime of what I made for over 2 years. I reinvested 100% of it every single time. I bottomed out my bank account for years. Like it would just be like, oh, I finally have money, I got to spend it on inventory. Finally have money, got to spend it on PPC, which honestly felt kind of bad, but I knew that it was better in the long run besides, you know, getting my car.
And it's the delaying gratification that's super important, because everybody, as soon as they start making money or they're doing, let's say $10,000, $20,000 in sales, they're like, oh yeah, let's go. Like I'm making more than my 9 to 5 and things are going so well. And it's like, yes, they're going well, but you got to think the bigger picture and you got to be patient and say, hey, let's not go on that vacation, or let's not upgrade our car, or let's wait to splurge on things that we don't necessarily need and reinvest into the business. Because now fast forward 2.5 years later, in my opinion, 2.5 years is not that long. Like to get to where you're at currently in 2.5 years is not that long. Like if people are not willing to wait 2.5 years to have success, like go pound sand, like go leave, because it takes longer and there's no such thing as an overnight success. So for people that are just getting into the game of Amazon, what would be your biggest piece of advice?
Yeah, for all the new Amazon sellers out there, you just have to realize that this is possible. Like you can 100% make it happen, but you have to put in the work to make it happen, right? Because you're 100% going to fail at some point.
For sure.
It's inevitable, but you just have to keep on getting back up and getting back at it, right?
So 100%, I mean, I couldn't agree more that you've got to be willing to take action and fail and pick yourself back up. And the limiting belief of whether you think you can or you can't, you're right, or, oh, I can't do this. I see so many new Amazon sellers fail because of that reason, is they think, oh, well, Amazon doesn't work, it's not gonna work for me, or, oh, this guy just got lucky. And I'll be honest, I mean, you can say that I got lucky, or Enzo got lucky, or my brother over here got lucky, or hundreds of people that I know got lucky, but the reality is they didn't. They put in the work, and it took time and a lot of hustle. So let's go back again from the beginning of your story. What did you do in sales your first year?
My first year, I had a 6-figure year my first year. If I recall, it was probably just over $100,000, probably like 110. And that was on the store that I started, 2.5 years ago. Now at that same time, my dad was trying to do wholesale on Amazon. He was buying from auctions locally, trying to make some extra cash on the side, and selling on eBay as well. And he saw that I was doing pretty well with it, So he had this idea for a product to launch. And so he tries launching it and didn't get like any sales. And so he actually hired me. I was working hourly, working for my dad, optimizing his listings, doing the listing photography. And we started getting a bunch of sales. We're probably doing 50 sales per day, something like that. And it was going great. So we're probably at about the same point in our stores And we thought to partner with each other because, you know, he has all the know-how for warehousing. I have all the know-how for Amazon.
Yeah, what's your dad's background?
My dad's background, so he used to be a landscaper.
Okay.
Yeah. Then the economy crashed and he started selling on eBay. And he did that all the way till probably a year ago. He quit.
So that explains why you started back in eBay at 2008.
Yeah.
Because you were kind of learning from your dad.
I was following my dad.
And
yeah.
that's super fun to have somebody to kind of see, oh, they're doing this and I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, keep going with that transition because that's super cool.
Yeah, so, you know, we partnered. He was the brawn, I was the brain. I would come up with all these ideas for products, and then, you know, he would help me to store them, do all the warehousing, because there's no way I could keep it all in my dorm room in college, right? So it eventually evolved into this beast that it is, 24,000 square foot warehouse. He recently quit his job. I quit my job. I mean, I worked in a pizza place for about a week, trying to get some more money to fuel my Amazon store.
Wow.
So, yeah, man, it's been an incredible ride.
Dude, that's inspiring for anybody that's listening. I mean, his dad quit his job. He quit his job. We got a 24,000 square foot warehouse. I mean, he's buying a Porsche, whatever you want to call it. And that's just super fun to see because it wasn't just, it was like 4.5 years for me when I started. And it makes me reflect on all the experiences and ups and downs that I had. And I hope that everybody that's watching takes this as motivation, inspiration to just go out there, put in the work, and know that, hey, this is possible if you just put your mind to it. So to wrap up this video, I really appreciate you being on here. Is there any last words of advice or any last details of any or tips or anything that you want to end the video with?
Yeah, just more advice. Like I said before, most important thing on Amazon is picking the right product, okay? I don't care if you have to pay someone to help you with that. You can figure out listing optimization. You can figure out the photography after you get your product, but make sure you have a high quality product. That's all that matters. And then you'll eventually get 5-star reviews and hopefully it'll be a home run.
That's awesome. It's funny because a lot of times people are so worried about taxes and so worried about different things that aren't necessarily applicable at that time. And it's like, just worry about the first step, and that's finding a product. That's the first step that you need to do. Obviously, you have to have an Amazon account, but once you get the first product, then start learning. So that's super awesome. I appreciate Enzo being on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I was talking to him before the video, and he hasn't quite finished the warehouse yet. But if you guys are interested, I will come back and we will do another video and take you guys through a tour because he's got a lot of stuff back in there, and it'd be super cool for you guys to see. So if you guys want to see that, leave a comment down below, like the video, subscribe, show some love to Enzo. I really appreciate you being on here, and I look forward to having you again on the channel soon.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.